So for masonry or concrete gravity dams, these sluiceways can easily pass through the body of the dam or the spillway that is shown in this diagram. The outlets are provided within the body of the dam. These are the sluiceways at different levels of the dam. For earthen dam, it is provided outside the limits of the embankment. So this earthen dam in which this outlet work rectangular tunnel or sluice pipe which is provided at the outside of the embankment. So if no such adjacent hill site is available and there is no alternative left but to pass the sluiceway through the dam, projecting corners must be provided so as to reduce the seepage. If no such adjacent hill site is available and there is no alternative left, alternative is left to pass the sluiceway through the body of the dam, so projecting corners must be provided so as to reduce the seepage. Like projecting corners provided करा sir. To reduce the seepage to the dam along the outside of the conduit. That is shown in this diagram. This is a seepage path. Collars are provided to reduce the seepage. See this diagram. Outlet attachment through the earthen dam. Collars are provided. This is a seepage path. This is the length of this outlet work. The seepage is thus reduced by provision of these collars. Seepage is reduced by increasing the length of the seepage path by at least 25%. 25% seepage is reduced by increasing the length of the seepage path. The 25% of the seepage is reduced. If the L is the length, total length of the sluiceway from upstream to downstream side, the length of seepage path is given as by this equation. The length of seepage path is given. That is given by this equation, which is equal to seepage path is equal to L plus 2x into n, where x is the projection of the each collar and n is the number of collars. So L is the total length of sluiceway. See this diagram here. This L is the total length of sluiceway. The collars is a product length at different distances. This is a seepage path. A seepage path hai. The total length of sluiceway is L, capital L. The seepage path, which is calculated by this equation, L plus 2 into x into n. N is the number of collars. Number of collars is the path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In top plus the 7th. Total 14 collars are provided. The seepage path. So this seepage path, length of seepage path will be calculated by this equation. L is the total length of sluiceway plus 2 into x. X is the projection of the each collar into number of collars. That gives the length of the seepage path. The increase in seepage path, which is 2 into n into x, must be generally be that should be greater than L by 4. Total length of sluiceway by 4. Increase in seepage path, which is given as 2 into nx, that should be greater than the L by 4 distance. Interior of the sluiceway tunnel or pipe must be The interior of sluiceway or pipe, which must be smooth without any projections or cavities. Projections or cavities, if it is present, that may cause separation of flow from the boundary of the pipe or conduit, causing the development of negative pressure. For that case, the interior of the sluiceway should be smooth. The entrance of sluiceway is also very important, since a square edge entrance is likely to cause more separation of flow. Square section, square square edge entrance, that may cause separation of flow, or that more danger of consequent cavitation. Cavitation may occur. So as compared to bell mouth or some other type of entrance, square edge entrance, that may cause separation of the flow, or that may cause cavitation. So bell mouth entrance is much better and superior to any other type of the entrance, which is uh, much better than the square edged entrances. So in this, cavitation is avoided. So the extra cost involved in the shaping the entrance is usually justified, except for small projects under low heads. Is a diagram of bell mouth entrance. It's a square edge entrance. In square edge entrance, there will be the more cavitation. Cavitation will be more, but in bell mouth entrance, cavitation is less. This is a bell mouth entrance. See this, the region where separation occurs, separation of the flow occurs. In square edge entrance, there is the separation of the flow. In bell mouth entrance, there is this is the bell mouth entrance, and this is square edge entrance. In square edge entrance, there is a separation of flow and cavitation will be there. But in bell mouth entrance, there is no cavitation and no separation of the flow of water. This is the region where separation occurs. Separation of the flow occurs here. This is a bell mouth entrance, and this is square edge entrance. This is a depth. The shape of the bell mouth entrance is generally elliptical shape. So Domo, which is who has suggested the following equation for this bell mouth entrance. For circular conduits, the equation which is suggested by Doma for the bell mouth entrance, that is 4x square plus 44.4 y square is equal to d square, where x and y are the coordinates of any point on the curve. And d is the diameter of the circular conduit. This is for circular pipes or circular conduits. For rectangular tunnels or rectangular pipes or rectangular conduits, the equation is given by x square plus 10.4 into y square is equal to d square, where x and y have some which are the coordinates, and d is the width or height. So these are the equation for circular conduits and for rectangular conduits. So this is the outlet work to the dam. Similar outlet works through the dam. Any difficulty in this? Please ask. Similar outlet works through the dams. These are the sluiceways or dam outlets. Outlets which are made in the which are provided in the body of the dam or adjoining to the body of the body of the dam. So these are the structures which are used to convey the water, which are used to uh, flow the water from upstream side of the dam to the downstream side, which are used for that water, which is conveyed through that outlet work, which is used for irrigation purpose, water supply purpose, power generation purpose. So these are the dam outlets or sluiceways which are provided within the body of the dam. In case of gravity dam, which are provided this is the outlet arrangement through the concrete gravity dam, in which sluiceways or outlets are provided at different levels. And this is the outlet work to the earthen dam. Similar outlet work through the dam. Any difficulty in this? Outlet arrangement to the earthen dam and outlet arrangement to the concrete gravity dam. So these are the outlet works which are provided within the dam body for the purpose of supplying water, for irrigation purpose, for generation purpose. So up to this we have covered this spillway and outlet works to the dam structure. Is there any difficulty? Please ask. So here we have completed the fourth unit, spillways and outlet works to the dam. The fourth unit we have completed. Now we are going to start the unit 5. Wears on permeable foundations. Unit 5 is wears on permeable foundations. So there are different types of weirs. Where is a structure or barrier which is constructed across a river for the purpose of storage of water. These are the hydraulic structures. Where is the hydraulic structure uh, is constructed across the river for the purpose to store the water. So hydraulic structures कुठले कुठले आहेत? As you have seen, different types of dams: gravity dam, arch dam, earthen dam. Hydraulic structures are dams, weirs, barrages, head regulators, cross drainage works. So these are the hydraulic structures that are dams, weirs, barrages, head regulators, cross drainage works, etc. So these are the hydraulic structures which are constructed or which are founded on the impervious solid rock foundation or on uh, pervious foundation. So they may be placed over the impervious foundation or pervious foundation. So the fifth unit is weirs on permeable foundation. On permeable foundations, which are pervious, which are not impervious. So I show you different types of dams: gravity dam, earthen dam, arch dam. So they are founded on a impervious rock foundation. So some of the structures they may be founded on a pervious foundations, permeable foundations. So whenever such structure is founded on a pervious foundation, it is subjected to seepage of water. When these structures which are constructed for the pervious foundation, so water is will pass through that uh, the foundation. Seepage of water will take place beneath the structure. If the soil is pervious, if the foundation is pervious, it is subject to seepage of water beneath the structure in addition to all other forces which it will be subjected when founded on an impervious rock foundation. Other than impervious rock foundation, the water will not percolate through that impervious foundation, but through the pervious foundation, the seepage of water will occur. So, in India, most of these hydraulic structures are required to be founded on alluvial soil foundation. So, in India, generally the hydraulic structures are founded on the alluvial soil foundation. कशावरती constructed असतात? Alluvial soil, which to allow the seepage beneath the dam structure. The dam structure or any hydraulic structure may be dam, weir or barrage, head regulator, or any cross drainage works. Any type of dam, it may be gravity dam, earthen dam, or arch dam. It may be founded on an alluvial soil. So seepage will occur. Seepage through the or so these hydraulic structures are required to be founded on alluvial soil. So this alluvial soil foundation they allows seepage of the water beneath the dam structure, beneath the hydraulic structure. They allows the seepage of water. So this, due to this seepage, what happens, as you have seen in the earthen dam, gravity dam, failure of the earthen dam, that may occur due to the seepage failure. Then when water is seeping through the seeping below the body of the dam or any type of hydraulic structure, so the water which is seeping below the body of the hydraulic structure through the gravity dam or through the water which seeps through the body of the dam, that may endanger the stability of the structure. The stability of structure will affect and may cause its failure. Seepage failure may occur. The seepage thermal coil, the water seeping below the body of the hydraulic structure, that may endanger the stability of structure. That may affect to the stability of structure. The dam may overturn or sliding may occur. The, the dam may fail due to seepage failure. Failure of the dam may occur. So that failure may occur in case of earthen dam due to piping failure or due to direct uplift. Due to uplift pressure, the dam may get failed, or due to piping of the dam. So these are the various types of failures that we have already seen in the earthen dam. Causes of failure of the earthen dam. Failure by piping or undermining. How the failure by piping occur or undermining failure occur when the seepage water retains sufficient residual force at, at the emerging downstream end of the work that may lift up soil particles. The water which seeps through the body of the dam, the seepage water retains a sufficient residual force.
हॅलो
Hello,
हॅलो
hello.
हा सर तुमचा आवाज ते काहीच येत नाही. हॅलो
आवाज येत नाही का?
हॅलो
हा, नेटवर्क
हा
प्रॉब्लेम आहे.
आवाज येत नाही आणि तुम्ही सारखं डिस्कनेक्ट होताय सर. तुम्हाला नेटवर्क इश्यू आहे वाटतंय.
हा
त्यामुळे
हा
उद्याच्या लेक्चर घ्या सर, आज नका घेऊ.
हा, ठीक
काहीच
आहे.
काय नाही म्हणजे सकाळपासून म्हणजे.
हा हा. हॅलो, आवाज येतोय का? Failure by piping or undermining. When the water retains sufficient residual force at emerging downstream end of the work, that may lift up the soil particles. That leads to the increased porosity. Porosity will increase, and there will be the progressive removal of the soil is the foundation. That may lead to the failure of the structure. Structure may ultimately subside into the this is the failure by piping. Failure by direct uplift pressure. The water seeping below the structure exerts an uplift pressure on the floor of the structure. The uplift pressure is exerted by below the dam structure. This pressure is not counterbalanced by the weight of the concrete or masonry floor. The structure will fail by rupture of the part of the floor. This is a failure by direct upward pressure. Due to upward pressure, the failure may occur. You exert the pressure on the floor of the structure. So these are the various types of failure. Failure of the hydraulic structures due to subsurface flow were introduced by the Bly. Bly's theory is there on the basis of experiments and research work, which is so these are the failure by direct uplift and failure by piping or undermining. So these are the consists of failure of hydraulic structures due to subsurface flow. So these failures which are introduced by so, so these are the failure of the hydraulic structure due to subsurface flow, due to failure by direct uplift or by failure by piping or undermining. So these are the concepts of failure of hydraulic structures due to subsurface flow were introduced by Bly. Bly is the who is the scientist who had developed the Bly-Script theory, who has studied this failure of the hydraulic structures on the basis of experiments that he has carried out, and on research work he is conducted after the failure of the Khanki ware. He has carried out this theory, which was designed on experience and institution without any rational theory. He developed the so this failure of the hydraulic structures due to subsurface flow, which were introduced by Bly on the basis of experiments and research work, which he has conducted after the failure of the Khanki ware. After the failure of Khanki ware, you have the Bly, who is the scientist who have developed this Bly-Crypt theory, who have studied the concepts of failure of the hydraulic structures, uh, which was designed on the experience and institution without any rational theory. After the failure of this Khanki ware, he developed this Bly-Script theory. त्या theoryचं नाव काय? Bly-Script theory for seepage flow. He studied this Bly studied the percolation of water